Eat them.
Hey there, and welcome to Game Snacks, where we celebrate Taco Tuesday every day. I'm your host, Thomas Swags, and with me is Rickus, Toby, and Chuckles for real. What's up?
My dog, Dolly, celebrates taco every day. She's got a taco chew toy, and so I get home and like she'll run up to the door with a taco in my mouth, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was Taco Wednesday."
That was really
Everything is awesome.
Incredibly
cool.
pertinent.
I cannot wait to see Wreck-It Ralph too. That's gonna be so awesome.
That's going to be a good
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's going on, guys? It's been a whole week since we last got together on camera for people.
Must we talk about ourselves?
Yeah, that's kind of what the show is. It's a vanity thing. I think.
Isn't that the point of like Twitch, podcasts, and everything? Really, is just to be like, listen to me and my opinions. They matter.
Yeah. I'm cooler
They
than
matter than anyone else.
Camera and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff. No, but we got a good show today. We've got a review of Red Dead Redemption, plus all of our coverage from Blizzcon. Super excited for that. And Rickus is going to eat 8 pounds of wings on air.
What?
What?
Yep.
That sounds like a.
Are you ordering the wings? I will try it.
I've got them all at my house right now.
Oh,
Right now. You
This is
just got to
awkward
drive over
because-
here.
Look,
And then you
Swag
could eat
turned
them all.
on the sun in his room.
his pores.
You can see right through me.
You are actually a ginger now, dude.
My beard is extra red now, right?
It
Yeah,
is.
super red.
This is very awkward. I don't like seeing
Yeah.
Tom.
White screens. The white screens. Oh.
Go back to blue.
Go back to
Go
blue.
back to blue.
There we go.
Man. I don't even know.
Cool tones.
Yeah. Chuckles for real looks like, what was it, like sepia tones or something? It's like the.
It's like he made everything tan.
Yeah, not
It's
the
dark in my
contrast. It's not
room.
low contrast. It's the
Right.
what do you call it? Like on Instagram, where you adjust how much
saturation,
colors in the
like
picture.
that.
Yeah,
It's
saturation.
the
Saturation.
saturation. Yeah.
You're low saturation right now.
That's
Yeah.
right. You know why? Because I have red cheeks from all the chuckling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, red cheeks.
Where's your
I-
Chuckles hat?
Is it?
Yeah. Where's your chuckles at?
Is it all the
Like,
chuckling, or is it all? Well, he might have red cheeks from chuckling, but all the chuckling is from all the weeds.
There we go.
Wow.
And he didn't hear any of that because he didn't have his
He
headphones.
did not.
I heard something about the chuckling, but I didn't hear anything else.
Yeah,
That's all right.
yeah. That's
Well, let's
okay.
go ahead. Since
Nothing
we
you
got
need to know.
a lot of content to cover. Let's go ahead and dive into the quick bites.
Quick bites.
So let's go ahead and dive in. I guess we all have a little something to contribute. So does anyone feel the need that they should go first?
I would like to go first to get mine.
Rick,
out
I
of
know
the way.
I know you've got some really passionate stuff to talk about. So
Yeah.
I was really hoping that you were
Rick
gonna
is
go
very
first.
I'm
passionate.
very passionate.
I wanted to
Wait
hear
a
what you
minute.
had to say
What are we
before I
talking about?
We're doing
First-
quick bites, bro.
Quick bites, bro.
Oh, did we do the
He's
sound
fired.
part?
Just fire him.
Yeah.
I didn't hear a
This is
sound.
the second,
Everybody
second
did that.
episode. And he's still
Quick
not-
bites, and then we had that whole conversation about you said you didn't have them ready yet, and then so
What?
it was an
Anywho.
interactive conversation that we had.
Yeah.
Oh, then I wasn't in it because I was putting on my hat, right? That's
No, you literally talked with us about it. You can go
Anyways,
back. And watch
moving on.
Moving
Rick
on.
is
Okay.
doing quick
Two
bites.
things related to TV here. We got TV and satellite is down 1 million subscribers just in the last 3 months.
Dang.
Drop.
That's because cable is boring.
I think that the formula for basic cable is just done. And I really do. The wrap it up in 24 minutes mentality, done. I think it's over with it. Well, I'm happy for it. I find it so boring. Second
Well,
thing,
that and the price points, I think
that you're
they're
paying
not
for,
competitive.
you're paying for 100 channels and you use 4 of them?
Yeah.
It's like,
And
yeah.
and then there's just not a lot of great shows on regular
Yeah.
basic cable right now. All the best programming's coming from Netflix, Hulu,
Mhm.
or the specialty channels like
HBO.
Showtime and HBO, which you can still get on Hulu. So
Yep,
what's
yep.
the point?
I agree 100%.
CW is garbage.
Especially
They have
now
a
that
couple of good shows. I would
now that Hulu
especially
has the
100. I
Watch
love that
TV
show.
Live thing.
What now?
Oh, I
What'd
guess.
you say?
Oh, hold on. Hello.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, especially now that Hulu has
Hello.
hello.
Now you're a little loud. Pull it a little bit away, like an inch away. There you go. Back
That's like
half an
2
inch.
inches.
There you go. Back.
A little closer.
All right.
All right. So what were we saying?
Protect your voice.
Yeah, so Hulu has the option now that you could pay a higher monthly fee and watch live.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
So it's if you can already watch the shows you want to watch live on Hulu, why pay for cable?
This is what I see. What's going to happen to cable? The service providers, they're going to basically cable's going to be a second thought, and it's just going to be about internet packages. That's it.
Yeah.
Especially with the net neutrality, that thing was abolished. So now I could see them charging for special tiers. If you want to get certain packages for gaming, then you can subscribe to this tier. So I think it's eventually going to happen.
A lot of them now you have to pay bonus for unlimited data.
Right, that too.
All that stuff. So it's easy to blow through some data. I think I went like 100 gigs a day for the first 4 days.
And it'd be smart for them to start pivoting now. I mean, now with that net neutrality abolished, now they can start ramping up their internet and start where they can actually handle streaming and not be bogged down. So this brings me to my next point.
You had 2 points?
Yes. Disney has finally announced their streaming service name.
What?
And surprise, it's called Disney Plus. Boring. But right now, for
He
me,
does not approve.
will you stop distracting and let us talk for 1 minute, please?
No.
Okay. Anyways, the right now I'm not going to subscribe to it. Obviously, Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel. When I start to see their lineup, maybe I'll subscribe to it. But as right now, I'm out.
I'm sure they're going to have a free trial. Right?
I don't care about the old Disney classics. I've seen them all a million times. The new ones I'll watch in the theaters.
How dare you?
I mean, Tori's got every one of them on VHS or something.
True story. The first time I ever won HQ is because it was a Disney questions, and she knew every single question.
Yeah, but dude, I don't have all my favorite my favorite Disney classics.
I know, I get it, but I'm just saying, as a male adult here, I'm not going to subscribe to Disney Plus because I have no need to do it right now.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of because Disney's very protective of their brand. They're not going to have R-rated shows on there. It's going to be mostly kid-centric. It's going to be their classic movies, and then it's going to be like the big franchises they own, like Marvel and Star Wars.
Now, whenever they own a couple of studios that do rated R stuff, but they don't say it's Disney. It's under
right, and it probably won't be on their streaming service. And it's like they've already burnt me out on Marvel. They're about to burn me out on Star Wars. So the last thing I want to do is subscribe to that and just feed into that. I'd rather just stick to movies. And
I don't think it'll be like that at all. I think their primary focus will be to outdo Netflix on every aspect.
I mean, they have the money to do it. They really do. They own 40% of the market right now.
You know? Like that's the whole thing that's their way of breaking into the market, and they'll do it. I don't think they'll limit it like you think they're going to. I think that a lot of their studios that make the R-rated flicks and stuff will still be making content for their streaming service eventually.
I mean, I just disagree. I think they are going to have a lot of new content for the streaming service to try to bring people over to have new shows that will be exclusive to that, just like Netflix has Stranger Things and other stuff like that.
Right.
You know, all these streaming services, just like game consoles, have to have exclusives to give you a reason to go there. So they're going to come up with new content. But with the Disney
Toy
brand,
Story 4.
I do not think they're going to have R-rated content on there. Just with the way they brand, they've refused to do any R-rated like Marvel stuff, despite the success of like Deadpool. And like Rick says, they own companies that do R-rated movies, but they don't put the Disney logo on it.
Right.
And since this is the Disney logo plus, I think it falls into their family-friendly branding.
Yeah.
I can see that. But being able to
Yeah.
go watch Lion King or Aladdin anytime I feel like it will be a nice.
Why would you want to watch Lion King or Aladdin?
It's a good one.
Toy
those are the-
Story.
The live action was pretty good. I'm not gonna
Toy
lie.
Story.
I really want to
Those
see
are some of
that.
the best classics.
Dude, they're doing the Disney, Blizzard, Bethesda, all these places are doing all the double dipping, stealing your money 100 times. Disney's like, we've had these movies out for years, but pay to see it now with people. We're going to redo all of our old movies in live action. The
Hey,
Aladdin
there's
one.
nothing wrong with that. Love a little live action film.
Mary
Well,
Poppins is coming out.
It brings all those movies into real life, the reality.
I think we should move on because this is.
I think
a
so
long
too.
topic.
that was
That was a
long
medium
time.
bite for sure.
Yeah,
It was.
That was
Well,
long.
Toby made it into a big bite.
Yeah.
We're getting like
Okay,
a
well,
nice
I'll go
little-
next.
Try to keep this under a half hour.
Yeah, real quick. Respawn announced that they are confirming that they are releasing 2 games in 2019. They didn't say what they are, but speculation is it's most likely going to be Titanfall 3 and the Star Wars project that they've been working on, the Jedi Fallen Order.
I hope so.
So I hope so because EA owns Respawn. Titanfall 2 apparently had a super awesome single player campaign. I didn't ever get around to playing it, but I kind of want to because it was kind of a cool concept, a cool diversion from Call of Duty. But EA's owned the Star Wars license for 5 years, and they've put out 2 Star Wars games.
Really?
Battlefront
That's
1
it?
and Battlefront 2.
Hmm.
And that's all they've put out. They've really underutilized having that license. So it would be nice to get a cool
They
Star
weren't the
Wars
Force
game.
Unleashed.
No, that was pre-EA getting the rights to that.
Okay.
Force Unleashed was like 360 era. So as far as
It was
this
so
generation
fun.
consoles, Battlefront is the only Star Wars games we've got. So I'm really interested. I heard it's a third-person action adventure. So
Okay.
I hope it's not like Force Awakens. I hope it's more kind of
I mean, the engine for Titanfall was awesome. So if even they use that engine, I'd be still happy.
yeah. I hope it's like dirty, grimy. I'm just pissed because they canceled the Visceral game, Star Wars one. They did Dead Space. I think they would have made an awesome Star Wars game. So I hope it's kind of similar to that.
Okay.
So that was the news from Respawn. And then real quick, I was just going to mention over the past week, I got Call of Cthulhu in the mail, and I played that and beat it. Since there wasn't a lot
You did
of
that fast?
yeah, it's a short game. It's
Huh.
it's a kind of horror story adventure game. It's mostly solving puzzles. There's moments where you are kind of running and hiding from monsters like Amnesia, and at the very end there's some gunplay. But yeah, it's a shorter game. But there weren't really any horror games this year, so I rented that to check it out, and I actually have a Switch game coming in the mail that's a horror game, like top down. So I'm kind of late on the Halloween horror games. But anyways, I played it. It was fun. They really nailed the
Lovecraft?
yeah, the Lovecraft atmosphere. The story was cool. It was a little bit clunky, and honestly, the graphics felt very dated. It almost felt like playing Skyrim, like the Skyrim HD remaster, where it was like clean and good, but the
Okay,
character
you telling me
animations,
that they
environments,
put a horror
looked old
game
school.
on the Switch?
What's that?
You telling me they put a horror game on the Switch, dude?
Yeah, there's lots of horror
What's
games.
this world coming to when they put horror games on child's consoles?
For the adult children that like
Yes.
to play.
Or just people who like portable gaming, but and don't want to play on their phone. But so, anyways, it was fun. But the thing I think that pissed me off the most about it is it's one of those games that you get different endings depending on the responses you do to characters.
I like that.
And just I'm not going to spoil anything, but the whole game based on all the decisions I made, and I purposely kind of went evil at the end just because I wanted to see Cthulhu. And in the whole game, I saw Cthulhu for like 5 seconds, and he was like silhouetted, and I mean he looked cool, but it was literally 5 seconds.
Sauce Peter?
I would give it a medium.
Medium sauce. That's like not even Tabasco.
No, that's more like Cholula.
Yeah.
It's had some good flavors, but wasn't too hot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was fun. If you like H.P. Lovecraft, it's worth playing. It only takes about 8 hours, maybe 8 or 10 hours.
Okay.
Cuckoo. All right, Chuckles, what do you got? Your little hybrid stent that you said that was.
Oh, are we still in?
BlizzCon,
Are we still in quick
Quick
bites?
bites?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, 'cause this has not been quick. I'll try to make mine as quick as possible. So a month ago, there was a post on Reddit which showed the fundamentals of playing Overwatch, and got a lot of upvotes. Got some popularity on Reddit, and then a couple days ago, a group of people. Yeah, hold on a second.
Keeping it short. Keeping it short.
Yeah, I was looking. I had to close the tab, dude. Level 2 Gamers put out a video based off of this written document that this guy posted on Reddit, and it's just a lot of good information about how to play and understand the game of Overwatch. I watched it today and taught me a lot just in a little 6-minute video.
It's a fundamental button mashing.
Do you just pull the trigger a whole bunch? So
You just hold mouse 1 and Q. That's all there is.
mouse 1 Q.
Oh wait,
Are there any
console.
highlights from it that you want to mention? That stood out to you?
no, because I think every person that watches it is going to have a different part of the video that'll mean something to them.
So
'Cause it's
you're already a pro player. You didn't learn anything.
no, I learned a ton. I learned not to stick my neck out to get shot in the face. That's what I learned.
What?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Whoa. You're supposed to get shot in the neck.
No, actually, the first rule is
Tommy,
to
can you please?
not die and kill things.
Please.
That's literally the first rule is to not die and kill things. So
Wow.
very
what is
clever,
this puppy grooming?
well written document. So I put it in my Discord. I'll send it to someone if you guys want to
We'll
link
put
it.
it.
I'll
we can
check
put
it
the
out.
link up on the GameSnacks website.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll definitely do that.
I hear there's somebody in this group that runs the website and can do that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm sure we got a lot of Overwatch players in our listeners, and yeah, always
Game's dead.
to get some tips.
Game's not dead.
Game's trash.
Game's
All
alive.
right, so to stick in line with the last couple topics, Blizzard executive producer did say that they are planning on making mobile versions of their whole Blizzard world.
Yeah.
So after they announce Immortals.
Okay. What is
But-
on this topic, man?
It's because they're diehard PC gamers. In Blizzard, you've
Okay.
really just been able to play exclusively on PC, and it's just
Blizzard's core fan base are PC nerds, and if you talk to PC nerds, the hierarchy of gaming, mobile
is at the
is like at the bottom. It's like
below
PC,
Nintendo.
Yeah.
PC, like console, then arcade, and then maybe mobile.
Yeah, but I think it's not. I don't think it's.
If you're smart,
They're just going to license their name out to let.
Well, they said that they have a lot that they're actually producing by Blizzard, but some of them they are going to do like they are doing with Immortal, where they're going to license some out, and some's going to be in house. They did Hearthstone, which is in house, but that was
that's a mobile game.
they said that some of them might be available both. So I think the ones that they produce, they might be able to play PC and mobile or something.
Mobile's
like that.
a money maker, so people are gonna
Dude,
definitely.
putting mobile games out.
Okay.
So
Give me
we'll
a
talk
second.
more Blizzard here in a bit. We got a whole
Yeah.
topic on BlizzCon. Nintendo Switch just got the YouTube app, so welcome to 2005. And, PUBG is free this weekend on Xbox only. So if you've been wanting to try the game out, save yourself $30, download it for free on Xbox, play it.
You
And
want to
then
download it and find out you don't like it, now's the time.
right.
It's great.
Mhm.
It's a great
Why
game.
would you ever download anything?
But
on Xbox?
and then it's also coming out released on PS4 next month. And then
Wait, what did you say was getting announced on PS4?
PUBG is coming to PS4 next month.
Oh, so it's
Right
no
now it's
longer
just-
exclusive to
Yeah, it was exclusive to Microsoft.
I love how.
Oh no, that just means you have to buy the copy of it 4 more times to play it on every console because crossplay
It's like
doesn't
Overwatch.
exist in that world.
That's mostly in just the PS world, but
I love how Chuckles does not back down the PC.
I've noticed there's been a lot of Nintendo hate this episode. And then Chuckles is adding some Xbox hate there.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
here I am just minding my own business.
Mind his own
People
business, trying to
are
run a
like
show.
ripping on all the things I love.
Yeah.
Just trying to run.
Well, to rip on some more console stuff,
Oh my God. How could they do
Sony
that?
announced that their lead director, Hajime Tabata, if I said that right,
You did.
from Square Enix, is no longer with the company. He's the guy who did Final Fantasy 7 and 15, and
I
then
love that
like
game.
Crisis Core and a few of the other really big like Final Fantasy World games. So I don't know what's going to happen then, because if he's the one who directed the first Final Fantasy 7, that was a big success. 15 was also a really good success for them. And as they're talking about the Final Fantasy 7 remake coming out after Kingdom Hearts, without their lead creative director, curious to see if that's going to still go on or
what
who's
the
going
guy
to
did from what's his name? He got fired from Konami. What's his name? Yeah, he's doing
Kojima?
Yeah, Death Stranded. He's gonna pull that. He's gonna start his own studio.
and come out with like First Fantasy.
First
First,
fantasy.
it's going to go First Reality.
First.
Well, no, he's going to do something avant-garde or something where you don't know what the hell
Yeah,
it
you're
is.
gonna
And
have
he's
a
just going to
toilet
tease it for
following you
12
around.
years.
Still don't know what it is. I mean, they showed so many stuff.
Do we have comments on Twitch or anything?
Oh,
Are you
yeah,
watching?
It got reported by Kush and Quiet. Looks good.
We got reported.
Yeah.
What a douche. I think
He's probably reporting all the Nintendo hate that you guys are.
I think he was just reporting your face was kind of what the comment was.
Wow.
So,
Toxic.
well, let's go ahead. Pop into the main course.
Now for the main course.
Well, we're going to kick off BlizzCon 2018 and then dive into our review of Red Dead Redemption 2, hashtag RDR2, not R2D2. Yeah.
Which that's what I read every time I see
I do too. Every time I see the hashtag RDR2, I'm like,
hence the Star Wars t-shirt I'm wearing. My brain immediately goes to R2D2.
oh no, Kush reported because Rickus is wearing a Jets jersey on the game.
Oh, yeah, that I
Listen,
approve. I approve.
I can wear whatever I want.
Hey,
I'm
they
wearing-
have Justin Madden, dude. It goes. It's a.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
game.
right, bro. They see TJ knows what's up.
I'm wearing a George
but even if you
Washington.
play Madden,
There's holding
would you
I would
willingly
never pick the
support a
Jets
terrible
because they're
team
trash,
and have no
but-
ties to that team?
but they exist.
You missed. I wish you would have got his
Hey,
hat. Damn it.
It's like,
I was trying
I've
to,
never
gosh.
lived in Cleveland,
So
but
what, there's-
I'm gonna root for the Browns.
So what? There's people who never went to UF
Yeah.
and Gators.
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb.
Same thing with like the Cowboys
Yeah.
are supposed to be America's team. 90% of the
Yeah,
fans
at
have
least
never
the
been there.
Cowboys win games.
Oh,
They're one of the worst teams in the league right now.
Burn.
Like, yeah, like 50 years ago.
What's with all the
Anyways,
physical
sports. I know
Anyways,
nothing
Rickus
about
is
them.
doing
Tommy, will you-
terrible at knocking his hat off. So let's go ahead, dive into BlizzCon.
I love how dive into is his transition.
dive into? Like,
yeah. I hope it's a swan dive. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and take off on this,
Holy
and I'll
fuck,
wrap it up. So-
No, why don't you go first, do the
Yeah.
name clean, and then I'll clean it up.
And
Okay.
then I've got the list of all the topics. So.
All right, I'll let you guys all discuss the topics. My thoughts on it is I just kind of like, when it was over, I felt like Blizzard should have done what Sony did this year. Sony canceled PSX this year, and I think the reason was is they had big reveals at E3, and they didn't really have enough content to make it worth doing a big conference. So I feel like Blizzard should have maybe just taken the same cue and took a year off and waited till next year, because I know Ricky says it's more than just game announcements, but to me, that's the whole point of conferences. If you look at E3, PSX, QuakeCon, the whole point of these conferences
starting this week.
yeah, is they're there to give you updates, give you reveals, and let you get excited for stuff in the future. The Overwatch announcements, it doesn't matter. Overwatch announces new players all year, so they don't need BlizzCon to do that. The live esports events, they don't need BlizzCon to do that. Just do esports. But everything at that conference was an expansion, a re-release of old game, the only new content they had was the mobile game, which them having such a hardcore PC gaming fan base, a mobile game announcement should have just been pop it up on the internet news, maybe release it ads in the app. Like that should not have been conference news. To me, there was just nothing there that was worthy of having a big full-fledged conference.
Like you said, they have esports events.
Right.
So they get you to the World Cup for Overwatch. You can go watch WoW's championship, StarCraft, Hearthstone's championship. So you get all those sporting events. And on top of that, you get to go behind the scenes and meet the developers. They talk about the games. I particularly like, me and TJ watched the ones about Overwatch, how they came up with Ash, how they design a hero. It's all that behind the scenes stuff, and that's what the cool stuff about the con is. You get to see that behind the scenes.
Right. And
if you go to the con, that's 90% of what you're doing is the behind.
Yeah, if you talk to somebody who's been on, like I've watched streamers and stuff who just came back from BlizzCon, they say they had a blast. Like I think being there in the moment and having all the backstage stuff that you can do and all the behind the scenes things that you learn about while you're at the conference is the real reason for the conference.
Yeah,
right.
No, I'm 100% agreeing with you. The game reveal or the reveals were very lackluster.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
It did not leave me excited about Blizzard after the conference.
However, last year they had they had announced Battle for Azeroth, the WoW Classic. They had new maps for Overwatch, new expansion for what was it?
Diablo. Yeah, we got that Necromancer.
Yeah. So I think last year they're coming off this huge, all these reveals, and you know what, with games, it takes a long time. So
E3 is always like every other year is really good.
Well, and like Blizzard too, they only have a few franchises, and they take lots of time in between new releases for those franchises because they really put their heart and soul into their games. Right. So I don't know. In my mind, to me, it's like, then why do a BlizzCon every year as like as it is?
It's for
like,
people to geek out, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like, rather than like marketing it, because the way they market the BlizzCon is kind of like people go like they would go to a QuakeCon or an E3 or a Comic-Con. It has that vibe. So I'm thinking, so in my mind, it's like, since you take so long in between games and you don't have enough content to have big reveals every year, why not just do an esports, like a Blizzard esports event once a year, and then every few years do a big conference where you dive into all your games and content? Because otherwise, I just don't, to me, in my mind, expansions and like map updates and stuff like that are not worthy of like conference announcements.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, they really only had about like
press conference
4 hours of like per game content. Like, I mean, you had the opening ceremonies, which talked about a lot of the stuff, but each of the segments were actually very small. They didn't put a lot of time into it. The majority was the behind the scenes and the esports, because that is their big event where they have the best of the whole world come together and compete in their own game.
Well, right. So, well, that's what I was saying is like, take out the conference half of it and just have a like a Blizzard esports.
I mean, they still had new stuff to share and show, like
have your boots and
having a new character, getting the short. You got the McCree short. You had a lot of stuff, and then not to mention just the stuff that did go live on that day. The WoW Classic servers went up. Mm-hmm. They had new character for like HOTS, Hero of the Storm. They basically had something new to provide for everything. Yes, if they would have dropped a Diablo 4, this conversation would have been different. Right. Everyone was disappointed that the new Diablo game was just like a remake of 3, but on mobile. Which
technically, it's not a remake. It's supposed to take place between 2 and 3.
Yeah,
right.
But it's all the same characters from 3. So
all right, so this right here goes into what I was talking about at the beginning with the quick thing. If you look at the future of gaming, how we're moving into the whole 3D territory and all these other things, the mobile, the ability to put your phone into one of those 3D glasses, play a game that's on your phone with a controller you hold in your hands is going to happen, and it will be the future of gaming. So it's smart for Blizzard to start introducing its games to a mobile platform, because eventually it's going to go that way.
Yeah.
You're going to see all these kids with these 3D glasses because they all have phones now, and it's a computer in your hand. So the more that they can develop a game that looks good and plays well in a virtual reality environment, they're opening themselves up for what will be the future of gaming. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against them making mobile games. I think Hearthstone's one of the best mobile games out there. Like, I just don't think mobile games are like conference worthy, or especially when your demographic is a PC gaming demographic. It's just but mobile games can be fun. They're just limited. There's not much you can do to it. So mobile games are typically casual gamer type of audience, which their audience is hardcore gamers, and hardcore gamers, we're not into mobile.
Fortnite changed that. Fortnite mobile to where I can play on my phone against people on their computer. That breaks that barrier that it can just be, casual. You might only play casual games, but you have lots of games like KOTOR, a bunch of the old RPGs. Granted, they're not as full graphics heavy as some of the others, but a lot of these games now, the newer games, are coming out with mobile versions that simulate the real game, so you can have that same experience.
Right, but I wouldn't say Fortnite changed anything, because Fortnite itself is a casual game. I wouldn't consider Fortnite a hardcore game, and it being mobile, it's still only appealing.
I think it's not what's hardcore, is casual. It's what makes money. It's the difference.
Well, that's why they make mobile games.
But what would you consider so different on, Overwatch versus Fortnite? I mean, is Overwatch then a casual game? It's a strategic shooter. So is Fortnite, just because they have less gameplay modes. It still makes a ton of money. It's super competitive.
Break it down. Fortnite, you can be really good at Fortnite, but I think it has a smaller learning curve. People who don't typically play
so much harder than playing like Overwatch or something like that to be good. Like, you're going to win way more.
To be good, but because it's just goofy and random,
it's just cartoony, dude. That's it. I mean, the mechanics in it are tough. You've got the building aspect where people can just like instant build mini forts and run around high, throw grenades over a wall. It adds a full new aspect to just a first-person shooter. Like, it's so much more.
Right, but then why
are you garbage at it?
Why are more people playing Fortnite than they are playing Overwatch?
It's free.
Yes, it's free, but it's also just an easier game to get into.
And not only that, it's not only because it's free, but because it's relevant. Fortnite takes a lot of its elements that it uses in emotes and costumes and in the atmosphere that you're even playing in.
Now you can play as football costumes right now.
Right. So Fortnite is a very culturally relevant game as far as like what people see out there in their real lives right now. Like, they can see a dance that they learn on YouTube and go on Fortnite, and that dance is in an emote in their video game.
Yeah.
So it's literally bridging that gap between the internet, or like what they see in their real lives, and what they see in their virtual world.
Dude, I totally get all of that. I have no problem with Blizzard making a mobile game. I'm just saying, when it comes to BlizzCon and putting on a big conference, just know your audience. Yeah. And I just feel like they just...
I agree with you. That
consideration. It's just their audience doesn't give a shit about mobile games. That's not what they want.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I literally play mobile games. Like, the last mobile game I played was that like Tomb Raider puzzle game. And I only played it because I was like stuck waiting on my car to like get worked on. But I literally hate playing mobile games. They're just not fun to me. They're all the same. They're in the tap playing. I'm not into it.
Right.
And
but say you could take that same mobile game, put it into your 3D visor, and now you're tapping with your fingers in a UE.
I mean, if we're getting to like a Minority Report shit, then yeah, I might change my opinion, but we're just not there yet.
I'm not talking about Minority Report. It's like a controller, like instead of the buttons being on controllers, they're in fingertips of gloves. Like, and you can actually touch in front of you and touch your.
Yeah, but do they have that yet?
No, but I'm saying you have to. People who are upset about this, I think, are not not looking at the real future of gaming. Like,
No, I think what it was, they just got caught off guard. And I think had no one thought Diablo 4 was coming out, I think they would have been, whatever. But
well, whose fault is that? Blizzard never said Diablo.
Expectations,
It was they
Yeah.
set these expectations in their mind, but instead they were highly let down.
But even if
had
I
it-
didn't think Diablo 4 was coming out, I would still just be like, roll my eyes
yeah,
about
I'd
that
be like,
announcement.
you just shrugged it
because-
off. But I mean, right now there's a laughing stock of the internet right now because
Right.
it's so. But
And I know
Their
technology has
Overwatch
to
competition,
progress and-
or not competition, their Overwatch conference was great.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Kaplan come out, talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and granted, we knew a lot of stuff that was already happening, and then he was like, "Oh, hey, all right, we'll watch this video," and then he came back, and he was like, "Oh man, maybe we have a new character." Like,
I mean, that was cool, but
know
then
you're
for
gonna
me,
get it,
that was just
but-
kind of whatever too, because Overwatch does that multiple times a year.
right.
You get a new
that's their
character
thing.
reveal and a cinematic.
Because their games are supposed to last a long time.
Yeah, so it's not like
They're
that was
doing-
a big crazy announcement.
You
Right.
have to
I
do
don't-
it every year because every year there's a new
Meta.
Got to build hype.
no, yeah, I mean but there's also like a new crowd that comes into the gaming. Like you see esports and everything picking up steam, and you have celebrities in videos, and you have Ninja doing like all these other things. So esports are on a rise.
Yeah.
So they're getting new fans all the time, and you want those new fans that you have to be able to experience BlizzCon. And if you wait every couple years, like just because you don't have some huge drastic announcement, all those people who get to go and experience BlizzCon, like staying there and seeing everything and getting all the merch. and all
Again,
that-
I think you just are misunderstanding me. I'm not saying waiting every few years to do anything. I'm just saying to like
Instead of the
mix it up.
conference is
Instead
trash,
of doing
and then
like
you
a
have it.
conference like QuakeCon does a conference, instead of doing something like that with that atmosphere every year, just do like an esports event every year that you can have booths at and your cosplay competitions and stuff at. Do something like that every year, and then space out the actual conferences with the announcements to every few years when you actually have content worthy of a conference to announce. Because to me, just DLC stuff, new character additions, that's just not, that's stuff that gets announced on the internet every day, like throughout the year. That's not like, let's make a big deal about a conference stuff. So just have fun esports events, do stuff like that every year, but then save the conference for every few years when you have relevant announcements.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into, see, I said move instead of dive, some of the stuff that was actually announced, because we've been on this topic for about 20 minutes and haven't talked too heavy about what was all announced. So Warcraft 3 Reforged, which is basically a full remastery of Warcraft 3, looks super good. Kind of glad they didn't come out with like a new Warcraft 4. Warcraft 3 was a lot of fun.
They said they were actually working on that.
But I'm really happy to
Yeah.
see this one get done. At first, I was hoping it was going to be a Warcraft 2.
Me too. Tides of Darkness would have been awesome.
That's what I thought it was going to be at first, but it was not. But still, I mean, the upgraded graphics and everything, it looks good. It really does for an RTS.
And it still kind of keeps the look of Warcraft 3. It's like they didn't change the graphics. It just looks more polished. And then
Right. And
the
it
characters
definitely
have more
looks better.
detail.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Hearthstone announced its new edition, Rasticon's Rumble. So it's take place in the whole troll world because they are all into voodoo and stuff. Overwatch, we did get the short from McCree. It wasn't as heartfelt as some of the other ones that they've had in the past, but
It was
it was
fun,
still really
though.
good. And it brought into a new edition of Ash, who's kind of like she uses like a pump rifle
A
and
pump rifle.
like a little like
It's called a repeater.
Peter, whatever. I don't have old guns. And then
But I thought it was kind of interesting, too, how they picked that character to release in that trailer the same month as Red Dead. It's like Cowboy Month.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Cowboy Month,
Yeah.
dude. So she comes with her special ult, which is Bob comes out and uppercuts whoever's in front of you, and then he turns into like a super powerful turret. Pretty sweet. She's a lot of fun to use. Got some cool little mechanics, and definitely could see her being a good like Pharah counter and just kind of ruining some of the squishier characters.
She looks cool for sure.
Not with you
Fun to play.
playing her.
Not with me, and I have terrible aim. So
You have horrible aim. I wreck you so hard.
yeah,
So-
I killed you like 3 times out of like
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
I hope she's kind of like a, especially being
Yeah,
a console
PC.
player. Being a console player, like Widowmaker kind of sucks to play. But I've always liked Sniper, so I'm hoping like maybe she's somewhere that will like scratch that itch, but not be as sucky as Widowmaker to play.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
definitely-
she's quite a bit easier.
with throwing a dynamite that has that little arc, it creates this like high skill ceiling. So if you can nail it just right, and there's a group of people, you can just wreck them because it does 180 damage.
Nice.
Yeah.
It will wreck them and multiple people at once. But if you let it just
Thanks,
if you
guys.
miss it,
Actually, it's actually better not to arc it.
just go straight.
Yeah, because
Yes.
the actual time that it takes for it to explode doesn't start until it makes contact with an object.
Right.
So,
But you can shoot it midair,
right, yeah, you could definitely shoot it midair.
which is actually a lot easier than expected. I
Right.
thought that was going to be tough, but it's just
Well, because the way that it was designed, there was an interview with Jeff Kaplan that said that the way that she was designed is that whenever you just throw her dynamite out, its natural trajectory will take it right in front of your crosshair eventually.
Yeah.
So you just have
Ah,
to
nice.
time that down, get the timing of your throw and shoot to be able to hit it midair pretty much all the time.
right.
So
Which
it's
is pretty cool. She
And
was,
yeah.
she was a lot of fun.
She has a lot of fun. Check her out. She's on the PTR right now. I
I have it on PC. Unlike Toby.
And then what was I gonna say? Oh yes, if you watch the McCree short with Ash and McCree in there and everything, you see another hero in there named Echo. Okay, Echo is actually in the early art with Overwatch. She's one of the robots standing in the background, but it says Althena on there. Okay, so what happened was there was so much white space on the character, so they wanted to put something to fill it up. So they just happened to put Althena's logo, which is the AI for Winston. If you watch one of his shorts, he's talking to AI in his short, which is Althena. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's why everybody was like, "Oh, it's Althena," but it's not. How are we supposed to know that they just wanted to fill space up, so they just slapped Althena's logo on there? Or
Right.
it was Althena, and they were just like, you know what, we're not going to stick with that name. We're going to change it to Echo.
Well, the reason why they'd probably change it is because then they'd have to change all the voice lines in the game because Althena
Yeah,
says everything right now. So
yeah.
if she's
Yeah.
a character in the game and she's saying stuff and then she's saying stuff over your ears,
That's a good call.
wouldn't
And then
it
they
make
introduced Bob, which is your alt.
Oh yeah,
as
Bob is
Ash.
a cool one too. He's basically a 7th hero on the map for you. He
It's
can
kind of like Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
okay, thank you for that. So he could be slept, he can be
Nerd.
bubbled, he can be healed, nano boosted, and so yeah, he's basically a 7th hero when he's on the map.
He can also pick up health packs and take a point by himself.
That too, and he can contest and cap too.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty useful. Pretty useful. Well, the next one on the list was World of Warcraft. They had the Lost Honor cinematic, which talks about the World of Warcraft Classic experience, which is now live. And then they also had a new segment into the Battle of Azeroth called Tides of Vengeance. That's going to kind of further the story along about Sylvanas taking over as war chief, and they come back to the old war chief. And
I
he's
thought it was vanilla.
Classic is vanilla. Yeah.
By the way, the short they showed for Warcraft looks amazing.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
Every
Blizzard make movies, you bastards.
Just do it.
Tommy, maybe you can answer this for me.
Okay.
What I don't know how World of Warcraft works. So say if you buy one of these newer versions of World of Warcraft, are you starting on that newer story, or are these newer versions, is it the entire World of Warcraft game plus that new storyline, or is it just
you
that
do have
story?
to buy the previous ones.
Certain packs will give you all the other ones. So if you buy Legion, it comes
but
with.
I mean, you still have to buy them, but yes, they will sell like a grouping of them.
Because I was wondering, like, what's the point of World of Warcraft Classic?
So
it's
like caps of level 60. It's for all the people who played it for when it first.
Because they feel harder. The newer ones are easier, and so like you're fast traveling. It's made easier, teleporting all the time. They went back in the old World of Warcraft days. It would take forever to get to a point. They want to bring back that I guess. The
grind back to
the grind back
a lot longer to level up.
They're bringing the Red Dead back to Warcraft,
right? So that's what it's for. It's just the hardcore fans that aren't happy with. They've really made a lot of accommodations on the newer ones, so that helps a lot, especially for more casual players. But when you get the new expansion, like the current one, like you're not really doing anything until you hit like level 100. Like you don't access the new content till then, or 110.
Like casual
right? But can you play like, say you bought the new expansion? Are you still able to play the storylines from the first World of Warcraft?
Yeah, because they're all every 10 levels gets the new expansion and new story. So basically, everything beyond like level 60 or 50 or something like that starts hitting a new expansion. That's why there's so many expansions. But this expansion, it's either 110. I think it's 110 to 120. Is where all this story takes place. And so,
if I bought the latest expansion, I could still play the storyline from the original World of Warcraft.
It's not until
I guess the only difference is the gameplay mechanics. So World of Warcraft
it's the leveling up mechanics.
But even still, if you only buy the original World of Warcraft, you're entering world that exists now. So all the stuff that's there, you're going to be able to do. You just won't have access to it until you buy the expanded upgrades. You might not have all the classes.
So the classic is just that, but with all the older mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically if the game first come out, that's why they call it classic. They're rolling back all the patches, whatever came out that time period. That's what you're playing. Nothing else is added. You're getting an exact story, only those characters. So it's just going to be basic.
But why would you want to do that?
It's for people,
the hardcore gamers.
It's for the purist of World of Warcraft. Dude.
I mean, like me, like they redid Resident Evil, made it better, and it's like, no, I want to buy it with the crappy tank.
There's people out there who like the retro stuff, and then
But I miss the retro stuff for the story and like maybe the pixel art or something, not for the crappy controls and mechanics.
There's people excited for it, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of people because, now, I mean, it used to take like an entire day to level up, and now you can get to like level 10 in an hour. So it's just, I don't know. It takes out a lot of the old.
It's more of a challenge, I guess.
It's
just nostalgia because
it's
like, want to go back
this
to
is the game that I fell in love with, and now this game is so different. And it's like when I go into like regular combat, it's not as tough as it used to be. Like I used to have to plan out, like if I was gonna go, like there's a mob of 3 guys, even though we're the same level, I'd have to plot out, all right, well, I gotta sleep this one can cast, so I gotta make sure I stop their attack. Like every encounter was tough. Now it's like, okay, you fight something 3 levels above you, you can take on a mob of 5 of them and not die. Like it's just different now. Because
as the years went by, they try to get more and more casual people into it, and then they made it easier. That's why.
Okay.
So
cool. Well, that answers my question then.
We're getting a lot of donations.
Kush 40 is up to 35 minutes.
We got
stream them one at a time, so his name pops up all over the stream.
Wow, Kush. Kush has got so much money right now.
Just to throw around on Game Snacks.
I know. So the next one on the list is Diablo Immortal. So
can we speed this up here? We're like,
I know. Well, it's because Toby keeps asking stupid questions. So we're only halfway through the conference. We still have to do
just give bullet points at this point.
So Diablo Immortal was the new big announcement. It's a full mobile game where it's going to be actual MMO instead of just 4 people maps. So they are adding a new little element to it. But a lot of it looks very mirrored from a lot of what Diablo 3 has to offer. So it looks familiar. All the familiar characters, as Chuckles pointed out earlier, are supposed to take place between Diablo 2 and 3. That was kind of all they announced on it. Other than that, the the whole Diablo 3 collection is now available on Switch.
The biggest issue I had with that game is,
of course, you have a comment.
Yeah, of course. When they announced the Diablo 3 for Switch, a lot of people were like, Diablo, that gameplay, there's so much going on the screen with all your spells and enemies. Won't it be cluttered on a Switch screen? Well, a Switch screen is this big, so I can't even imagine on a cell phone screen
Well, they're not
having to watch all of that.
They're not taking the port Diablo 3 onto the mobile phone. It's a different game.
Well, I know it's a new game, but if it was a port Diablo game, but every Diablo, that's Diablo.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they spent a lot of money on that intro. That would look so freaking awesome.
It did.
And then you're like, mobile game, no.
Got all super hype, and then
play it because it can finally test out what my iPhone can really do.
Yeah, no, I already signed up to pre-order.
I'm just like, how am I going to see anything?
I'm disappointed, but I'm still committed. Damn it!
And then like a million.
I mean, my cell phone is almost as big as
Fireworks.
the Switch right now, so I'll be fine.
So the next one we had, Here's the Storm. They announced a Leoric janitor skin. It's kind of funny. Like some of his moves, they reformatted him, so it's like he spills like a bucket and then he mops it up to hurt the enemies and stuff. Like it's just kind of.
What's the new name for
Orphea?
Orphea.
And she carries a little
like brand new. She's not from
she's designed for she's not from any Blizzard game.
Right, she's just for Heroes of the Storm. Which is cool. I do love that they kind of like clash all the worlds together in that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Fun. It's a tough game.
Just wish I liked mobile games.
I'm not into those.
Yeah.
Me either. There's way too much going on.
I just don't get them. I don't get it.
I'm like, is this an RTS? Is this an adventure game? Like,
yeah,
focus on units or my character?
Who knows?
You can't hear, but Kim is laughing at Tommy because he's making fun of you all the time.
Yeah,
she's texting me.
I'm used to Tommy being an asshole.
Then StarCraft 2 didn't have much. They announced the Dark Templar and Zeratul will be on the roster of co-op commanders. They had the new charity pet, which they always do some type of charity or something. This one is with code.org. It seems like it's just like more of like a tech-based fundraising company. And so you get a little Whomper, which looks kind of like a Yeti. Stuffed animal, so all proceeds go to that charity, which last year they did the Mercy skins and stuff like that for breast cancer.
I think the charity is like introducing tech to schools, like getting kids into
and teaching them like programming and stuff like that. It's a cool website. I browsed around it for a little bit, but
nerds.
Yeah, but it's cool that Blizzard makes such big initiatives for their charity events, and most of the time it's in-game content. So
like Mercy's pink.
Yeah, or they do a lot of WoW. Like pets and mounts and stuff like that. So really cool that they continuously are always focused on bettering the community.
You know what I like about Blizzard? It's because the heads of Blizzard, they're actually nerds. They play D&D. Yeah. They actually have on campus like this librarian, like the archives. And all they have is their like D&D books, and they have these graphic books and just all nerd stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah. And I mean, even when they talked about the new president, like that was just like two awkward nerds on stage.
Yeah,
like, it was really touching. Like you tell, like they've been good friends.
I mean, they started Blizzard back in their like in the '80s. It was these nerds came together.
So much of Ready Player One.
What was it? Vikings.
Yeah,
their first game.
Yep, Vikings.
Yep. So then to kind of wrap it up, Blizzard announced an esports mobile app to keep track of all the top players and stats, scores, all that stuff. And then as their gift to everybody, Destiny 2 is free for download on the Blizzard client. So
I have some opinions about that.
It was already free on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
It was free as
you notice how they're timed to go free for like a couple weeks and then it's not free anymore for people who didn't get in on it. The article that came out today, they're saying that Destiny 2 is just basically it's not doing as well as I thought it would. So that's what they're doing.
It's a boring, lackluster game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
It's fun if it's free. If you spend $60 on it, you're like, shouldn't have spent.
I mean, it plays like a Destiny, and it looks amazing on PC running in 140. Like it's in 4K. It's a beautiful game. I played it more than I played Red Dead 2 today. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. So speaking of Red Dead. Let's go ahead and hit into. Yeah, man, I'm level 10, bro. Level 10. Catch up. Get good. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk Red Dead Redemption 2 and then wrap this up.
All
This is
right.
gonna be a super short review because game's trash.
Whoa. Then
Whoa.
Go ahead and
let the naysayers go first, and then I'll go last.
all right.
Go ahead. I'll go last. It's fine. I went first on Blizzcon.
No, you're going first.
I'll go first. Toby can go second. Ricketts can go third. Because I have a feeling Toby's is going to be more critical than mine. Because I actually do have fun with the game.
Chuckles, did you play? Are you reviewing this?
Chuckles.
one?
You got like 8 hours.
For you. I do have a review for you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we'll go me, Chuckles, Toby, Ricketts.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I need to be last.
You'll be like, okay, I'll go third. Fine, I'll go
Did
third.
you even play it or did you just watch videos on it?
I did play it. I did.
Opinion.
Well, we're just discussing it and then giving our reviews, right? Or
Oh, yeah,
are you
right.
just having your? Yeah.
I wrote stuff about it because I'm
Yeah.
So I have some.
For the sake of time, let's all give our individual opinion and then our hot sauce rating, and then
just like a one sentence thing.
I
no,
don't
like
know all the
oh,
ratings.
well,
I memorized all the
Man,
ratings.
I thought Red Dead was going to be the bigger topic, and then
I got.
well, I
Yeah.
tried to make BlizzCon short, but you had questions about everything and made it long.
Oh my God, Tommy!
Why are you?
Anyways,
why
just
are you-
go.
This is good conversation, but you know,
Give the
I
people
guess-
what they want, Tommy.
Yeah.
Give the people what they-
Go.
Go for it. Toby.
Right. Now I'm kicking it off. So, Red Dead Redemption 2, the space cow in the
He's breaking up. Every time Tommy does a review or something,
Yeah,
he breaks
that's-
up.
All right, he's back. He's back.
I know.
Go.
it's a, like you guys
Because
all
his game is so much trash that the
Yeah.
internet can't handle it. Put the
You know,
stop.
I mean, we've been waiting for this game for like a decade. How long has it been, Ricky? It's what, 8 years?
2010. Yep.
Okay.
Well,
so,
me personally, I haven't been waiting for the game at all. So
Yeah. So a lot of people have. The first one was great. This one, it stays true to the game, which was great. A fantastic sequel. They kept mechanics. They've just made everything about the first one that was good. They made it better in the second one. Lots of being able to run around and in GTA fashion because it's Rockstar. You can go freaking kill, shoot, pillage, do whatever you want. There's consequences, but you can just kill the cops. So are there really consequences? I haven't not had a bounty on my head since I got out of the open.
I believe it. I believe it.
I do believe
Every
it.
single person I run across, it's like, hey, you want to buy this treasure map? Oh yeah, sure. Here's $10. Cool. You'll be hearing from me again. I'm like, turns around, pop, steal his horse, get my $10 back, and whatever extra stuff you
I
have.
like when you held. Was it for? Are you on the PlayStation?
I'm on Xbox.
So you hold. I think it's left trigger, and then you can lock onto them. It goes greet, antagonize, or rob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just shoot him. Like I did a good deed earlier today though, where there was this guy getting mugged, and so I was like, well, I want to kill someone, so I just killed the 2 bad guys and I looted them. So they're Driscolls. F the
Yeah.
Driscolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
you know, I mean, it's just the game. The scenery looks absolutely incredible. The
Yeah.
weather
Yeah.
scenes,
It
just
does.
everything about the game is so fun. But it gives me the same vibe as a GTA type game. It's got a good story. I don't personally care for Westerns, so the story doesn't interest me. I literally have skipped through just about every cinematic scene because I'm like,
You
this is
got the most.
boring.
You're the shortest attention span of anyone I know.
Like,
Well,
this is
it's funny because
so boring.
it's funny to me that video games are so perspective or just to each his own, because
Yeah.
it's funny because Tommy, the thing he's skipping and hates, like for me the story is actually one of the strong points, and one of the few reasons I'm still playing the game is because I actually enjoy the story and I want to see how it plays through.
I don't even know
Plus
what's
the
going on.
acting and the voice acting and dialogue
Yeah.
is amazing.
I'm like 10 hours into
Fun
this
Western
game
story.
on chapter 2 still.
Eh,
Like
you get
I'm
lost
just
in
running
all the
around
scenes.
finding
Wow.
people, looting, because I love to loot. And I would say my gripe about what they brought in from part 1 to part 2 was quick aim. Like there's no contest. I can snipe people and get headshots and not even
I don't like that either. I took mine off.
I don't want to take it off because now I'm so used to it. And I'm just like,
Well, I
took.
took mine off and put it back on because for me, that's one of the negative points on this game is the gameplay mechanics. Like if you don't have auto aim on, the combat is atrocious. It's terrible. Like it's so clunky and slow. There's no way to play that game fluidly.
Stealth is terrible in that game too.
Yeah, stealth too. It's like I
log and it's like
I have the bow and I want to go, and there's been missions where it's like, let's sneak up, and so I'm crouched and I'm behind a tree, and then I go to move to the other tree, and the whole village is like, there he is. They all start attacking me. Or there was one mission where there was 2 guys. It was one of the first missions, and there's the 2 guys, and you got to sneak up and take them out. Yeah. Well, there are 3 of them. So I use my arrow and headshot the guy who's in the back of the 3. So he dies. The house, all the enemies at the house way off in the distance go, there they are, and they start shooting at us. But the 2 guys that were standing there didn't move. They just stood there while we had a gunfight around them, and everybody got alerted.
That sounds like it's a bug. You're a glitch.
Yeah, it's a bug. It's like I've never been able to do a mission stealthy because you get noticed right away. But anyways, like,
so
it has to be auto. You have to have auto aim on to like have the combat be enjoyable.
Yeah.
All right, Swags.
Or bearable.
So, yeah. No, there's been a lot of fun stuff, but yes, it's the gameplay, because for me, gameplay is big. It is a cool story. Like, you come around, you're trying to make a name for yourself while out running away from the law, blah, blah, blah. But the gameplay makes it tough, and no fast travel. It's just like, oh, you die because you shot the wrong person, or you pillage someone, they had more guns than you. I die a lot because it piss a lot of people off, and sometimes like 10 guys from the law will come, and you try to negotiate with them, and then like you try to like move and like, okay, I surrender, and they're like, oh, he's got a gun, and they just shoot you down. You're like, I hit surrender. Like, what do I do? And I'm dead. But for that, I'm rating the game a hot sauce. It's a good game. It's not my favorite game, but for being a Rockstar game, they stayed true to it. They didn't add anything crazy. They didn't go away from the stuff that typically makes those games good. It's just a little clunky, and the cowboy story is not really my thing. So the story doesn't really I don't connect with it at all. But it doesn't take away that it's still a beautiful game. You get what you expect out of it. The horse's balls shrink in the cold air. So, I mean, the detail is there, and the horse is shit. Like,
you walk out and they're randomly crapping all over the place.
And then you can take bodies and drop them behind horses, and the horses can shit on the bodies. Like,
what's wrong with you? I don't know what's wrong with that.
Wow. That's why I'm only in chapter 2, and I will never get past chapter 2.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That's how when I first started the game for the first 4 hours, I'm like, what is the main mission?
I don't even know how the buttons work. I know how to kill things to make the horses shit.
It's Tommy for you. All right, you're but you gave it a hot sauce, so you're good. So you're up next.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Tommy brought up a lot of good points. Like, going into this game, I had never played Red Dead 1, and a lot of it was, like Tommy, I'm not super into Western. Like, it kind of like Far Cry 5 came out, and it was a great game, but not my favorite because it's an American landscape. I'm more into fantasy or exotic landscapes. The West seems too familiar for me. So
right.
I'm not super into Western, but I'm like, I got to check this game out. Everybody's super into it. It looks really good. And when I started playing it, it is by far the most beautiful game I've ever played. And you were right. They've put so much time and energy into detail. Just riding around the environments. It's not, it's not like Zelda where it's like, here's the desert, here's the snow, here's the beach, where it's blocked out. Everything gradually transitions to these landscapes. I'm not sure where it is. It doesn't really make sense that you have snowy mountains, but then swamps with gators. I'm not sure where in the United States you can
I think it's a made up part.
Must be made up because I'm not sure where you can go snowy mountains and get gators in Louisiana, but it looks fantastic. Beautiful game. Voice acting, is amazing. I love just listening to the people talk to each other and watching the cinematics, and it's funny. It's great. It almost makes you feel like you're watching like a Tarantino movie at times. I've been really enjoying the story so far. And really that's the main driving point for me, is just wanting to see how the story plays out.
Did you even play the first one, you said, right?
No.
Do you plan on playing it at all?
Probably not.
Well, John Marston, the character that you save in the mountains, he's the main character of the other one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're never playing. A spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played the game. Okay?
Spoiler alert.
John Marston at the very end of the game goes out guns blazing and gets shot up by like all these people. So he's dead.
Okay.
So it's a really somber ending. And then you pick up a New Game Plus as his son, the little boy you see in the
yeah.
Game.
So yeah,
like,
the story's good. Like I want to see how the characters play out. I like my character. Dutch is cool. He makes me think of like.
Doesn't he sound like Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, I looked it up. It wasn't. I thought it was Jeff Bridges. So I like his character. I like all the systems too. I like all the variety of things you can do, like robbing estates, doing train heists,
having to eat and drink all the time to maintain you and your horse's life.
That I typically survival aspects in games typically turn me off, but I don't think they lean that heavily into it. That has been an issue for me because it doesn't really affect you. It is confusing to me, their system for healing, like having the core and then the actual ring, to me doesn't make sense. It's like, why not just have health, stamina? Like, why have the separate things for the core? To me, that just seems.
Or do you like Fallout, where you have your food and drink, and then you all have your health, like your HP?
Yeah, it's like that. It doesn't really make sense, but it hasn't been so heavy into survival aspects that it's turned me off. But I think it is cool that they have all these different aspects. The AI is great. Like, it's cool that they continue living their lives when you're not around. So if you run into them further on in the game, they've progressed in their story. But so all that being said, now to my negative points, the things that are kind of frustrating me with the game is the overall polish. Like, I feel like for a game that's been developed for so long and how amazing it looks, it plays like a game that came out 8 years ago. They haven't updated their combat at all. It's just clunky moving around. Like, the horse is realistic looking, but the fact that I'm trying to shoot people, and if you're trying to aim and shoot, the horse will fucking run into a tree or a fence. And it's like Legend of Zelda, the newest Zelda, had better horse mechanics. The horse auto dodges trees and stuff because I think a real life animal would see it in front of it, so stuff like that. And it's like I'm trying to go in through doors and I accidentally sprint through and people are like, whoa. And there was a mission where there was a mission where somebody robbed someone, and so I had to steal a horse to go catch this guy. And after doing that, they gave you the option. They said, to keep your morale up, you can go and return the horse.
Or to keep your honor.
Yeah, to keep your honor. So I go, and the guy sees me. He's like, hey, and I'm
kill the horse.
Up, and he's like, thanks so much for saving my horse. And I'm like, yeah. And so I go to get off the horse, and the horse bumps the guy, and the guy's like, oh, what the fuck? And he like runs off, and I fail it, and my morale's down. It's just like, just things like that that's like super glitchy, that like I'll randomly run over a dog or something, and it's just like there's a lot of glitches that like affect the gameplay. It's it's just
makes it very
for
hard
a game that's they've worked on for so long. It's just like they've paid attention to, they put so much time into certain details. I think they overlooked other things that make the gameplay. And like you said, fast travel. They have quote unquote fast travel, and I get that they're trying to immerse you in this world. But to me, it gets frustrating too, because if I just want to jump in for half an hour or an hour and play a mission or two before I have work or something, it's hard to, because I'm spending 30 minutes riding on my horse from mission to mission. It's like, I don't understand, in a world with so many open world games, why you wouldn't just allow fast travel. Like, even the train isn't quote unquote fast travel, because if you take the train, it travels in real time. You sit on the train while it goes from city to city. So there's that, and one last thing I'll kind of say and sort of wrap it up is they give you the illusion of choosing to play how you want. If you want to be a black hat or a white hat, like good or bad, but
Always bad.
But ultimately you don't really have a choice. I feel like it's a false kind of like narrative, because I've been trying to play as like a good cowboy and like help people. But if you just follow the story missions, you're sort of forced into being the bad guy because that's the written character.
What they're talking about is the side quests. The side quests will build up your honor. The main missions you have.
Right, but then really, what's the point of that? Because if the story is forcing you to be a bad character, then why take the time to be good in the side missions? I might as well just be bad, because if I'm good in the side missions, and even it's not even in the side missions,
because the story's going to end eventually. There's new game plus, and you can be an honorable person.
Maybe, but it just, to me, it just doesn't make sense, because even
you're a freaking cowboy.
The ones where you collect the money that these people owe your financier guy.
Yeah.
I went to get it, and I wanted to tell the guy, "Oh, it's fine. You can like pay us later." I wanted to kind of go that route, but it forced me to beat the guy to a bloody pulp in front of his family. And
it's because you got a boss, dude, and you got to do what you're told.
Right, but that's my point, though. Is it's like they're making it seem like you have a choice to play a certain way, but you really don't.
But that's just one time. Majority of the times, like there's a time.
I mean, there's still a story that,
or let them go or beat them.
Or like the train robbery, I couldn't move on until I beat the guys and made them pay up. You know.
Maybe you're doing something wrong, because I just scared them off and they ran. I didn't even have to do anything.
On the train robbery, when you're in the middle and you're like collecting.
Yeah, I want to go. Just like I just shut up in the air, and then it scares them, and then
I just killed.
I don't know.
Literally, they were all on their knees, like begging for mercy, and I was like,
but I don't know. Ultimately, I think it's got a lot of good things, and it's a beautiful, like fun game, but it feels more like a Western experience than it does a game. It seems to me, it's less of a game and more of a like immersion into like a Western world, and it's kind of supposed to be the point. So I don't know. I'm trying right now. I feel like I'm playing it because it's the only thing that I have to play. If I had something better to play, I would play something else.
Well, if you had PC to play Destiny 2,
so I would give it a hot sauce, because I think it's got a lot of polish. It's got a lot of good things, but there's a lot of finesse that they kind of overlooked that makes it sluggish and kind of frustrating to play at times.
Yeah. All right, guys, what do you think?
For me,
Chuckles.
My last. I thought I was going to third.
Chuckles wants to be last.
Chuckles wanted to be last. I conceded to that.
Rick.
He wants to be the caboose.
Yeah, you can be the caboose. That's perfect. Well, obviously, you guys know I like the game a lot. So first, I like the slow pace. I don't. Sometimes when games are fast paced, it can be over before it's done. So that's what Dark Souls is kind of like, that slower pace, slower combat. It's not always super fast paced. And
the pacing of the story or the like gameplay.
I mean, overall, I enjoy the traveling. In Skyrim, most of the time, I never fast traveled. I would always walk my way or take a horse, whatever. I'm just one of those people who don't like the fast travel, because I like to enjoy the world, to be immersed with the music and the scenery and
right. But you had the options. You could put 300 hours into Skyrim, or you could fast travel and finish the story in 60 if you wanted to.
But again, it doesn't bother me, so that's still a plus for me. I don't care about fast travel very much. To me, getting caught in a storm on my way to point A to point B is something that's phenomenal. It's scary because
it's pretty.
It is so. Oh my gosh! The way they have the capture light, if you're like on a hill and you see lightning at distance, it looks so real. And I'm on a regular Xbox One. I can imagine what it looks like for you.
Yeah, I can't wait to get the 4K TV to make my 1X worth it.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be 144 hertz on the PC when it comes out.
God. Yeah. You mean frames per second?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, what was I saying? The storyline is, I haven't finished the storyline. I'm probably about 30, 40 hours into it. Still not done.
I think I'm chapter 3. I'm in the second camp location.
Yeah, I'm a little bit ahead of you then.
So you're past, are you still at the same camp, or have you moved?
I'm at
like the lakeside?
Still at the same camp. Yeah. So to me, I keep getting sidetracked by all this stuff. There's 500 different species you can hunt and fish. It's incredible.
I killed a snapping turtle.
I know. Why would you kill a turtle?
It was a snapping
feet in a
turtle.
straw?
They're evil.
They walk so slow.
They're evil.
Did you shoot an arrow at it?
Yeah, I arrowed it. It took 2 arrows.
But I mean, there's just so much to talk about. I wrote a list down here, so let me just go through things that I really enjoyed here. So
Break it down for us.
break it down here. So I'm gonna go bullet points on
Break us out.
Break us out. So
Break it down. Break it down.
Hey, you know what? Shut up, Swags. So everything on your character and in the game is rendered independent. Okay, so it's not like when they made Morgan. It's just one solid piece. The clothing, the gun, the ammo he carries, his hat.
I love that you can change hats out by every person you kill.
I know. What's so cool sometimes is when I'm in a bar fight or I'm riding in a gunfight, I lose my hat, and
I'm always losing my hat.
I'm purposely going back. I'm looking for that hat.
You're like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to kill someone else and take their hat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the way
I mean,
the
I don't
West.
kill people. That's you. I don't do that. Next, I made something trivial, but I like the fact that if people aren't paying attention to you or they're running around, you can fire a gunshot in the air and they'll stop. It's like a warning shot. I absolutely love that. So that's one other point. Let's see. Small talk can also lead to dire consequences. Sometimes if you're talking with somebody, things get out of hand. And one time I was by this lake and I was just talking to this guy who's farming for gold, and I was just too close to him. He got pissed off and he tried to kill me. I was like, what the hell? So it was.
But did he succeed?
He did not.
Okay.
So I looted his body.
Was it the feuding families?
Yeah.
No, he was just like a prospector, just sitting by the lake looking for gold.
Self-defense, so it was okay.
It was self-defense. I had no guilt about it at all.
I don't know. Stand your ground doesn't apply in video games.
Yeah, exactly. I love the fact that wildlife is diverse and unpredictable. So it's something that's awesome. Let's see what else here. I did piggybacking off the animals. I love that there's the legendary ones that give you. It's kind of like, you know how Far Cry had the. Was it Far Cry 3 where you hunt the animals? There was one special.
Yeah, there was like
yeah.
Dude, I got the legendary bear, but I hadn't unlocked the fence yet to sell it to. So I dropped it. I tried to drop it next. No, I put it down next to my tent, and they're like, "Oh, when you're in town, we'll store it for you here." So I left it there, and so I was like, "I'll just leave it at camp and come back for it." So then I went to go unlock the fence, and when I left the camp, it's like, you left your legendary behind, and it like disappeared. So I never got to sell it.
I wonder if you can get it kill. No, I think there's only one of them.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Okay.
Maybe.
I love the fact that you have to bond with your horse. It's something that's really incredible. I think that the higher the level
Sexually?
No,
Yes.
this one's
Right in the pooper.
I love that the fact that you can change your look. You shave. You have to bathe. You can look grimy throughout the game. If you don't bathe for days, your suit's all messed up and you're like, look dirty.
Well, and the best part is if you shave, you got to wait for it to grow out.
Yeah, that's it.
And, in other games, it's like, I'm going to add a beard.
Exactly. I love the soundtrack. Some parts to me it's like the spaghetti western music, and sometimes it can be breathtaking. Where it's
minimalist.
Yeah, exactly. Another point is this game was developed by every part of Rockstar, the different cities. So each one had their own hand and had a little spin on it. So I thought that was cool Easter eggs in there. Let's see. You can customize your HUD. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. You can change out the map, the way it looks and everything. It's a beautiful game. That's another point I have on here. And let's see. I mean, just so many different things I can just go on and on about. I'll leave this last thing. Last thing, I was walking around and I stumbled upon a serial killer. And it had a scene like skulls. He wrote a message. It was really dark.
I heard about that mission.
Yeah, and I didn't start the mission. I just found it. I just found one of his locations where he set up a body and everything. It was just the creepiest thing. But to me, game. I'm going to give it awesome sauce. I love everything about it. I love the slow pace. I will say one thing: the mechanics of the game. It did take me a few hours, maybe 10 hours, but after 10 hours, I'm used to it now. I don't even think about it anymore. So it does. It's not.
Wears you down?
It doesn't wear me down. What do you mean wear you down?
Mechanics
So, no.
where you just accept them.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Well, whatever. The it does take a learning curve. That one, I would say that would be the biggest drawback.
But does it not feel dated?
No,
It just doesn't. Coming off a game like Tomb Raider or something in third person where it's so fluid, all your like combat motion, it just feels.
It doesn't feel clunky to me if you just get used to it. And TJ, you gotta fix your mic. We can't hear you.
Yeah. Why is your mic so far away?
What I'm saying is, I think what it is they meant for it to be slower. It's not supposed to be GTA where you have a submachine gun. And I think because of that, the controls became clunky. And
GTA is clunky too in comparison to other third persons.
I don't play very much GTA, so I can't say yes or no to that. But it does. That's the only drawback is it takes a long time to get used to controls. Some people may never get used to controls, and this may not be for everybody. But
Deadshot's cool though.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is.
So
I don't ever use it because
Awesome
I just
Sauce,
everything.
To me, it sets a new standard for open world games. It's touches in terms of the detail, the vehicle systems, the weather systems, the looting, everything is just awesome.
Systems are great in that game.
Yeah, so that's it for me. Awesome Sauce, Rick is out.
So just since this is Chuckle's first review with us as part of the team, I'm going to go ahead, and I probably should have done this earlier, but I'm going to review what the sauceometer is.
The Game Snack Sauceometer.
As our review system, because I love chicken wings, and so that's how we came up with this. So
and our podcast is food themed.
Yeah. So the lowest rating a game can get is a weak sauce. Then next is a mild sauce, and then a medium sauce, then a hot sauce, and then an awesome sauce. So a scale basically of 1 to 5 is the rating. So Toby and I gave it both hot sauces. Rick has given it an awesome sauce, and let's hear what Chuckle says.
Well, I didn't get to play as much of the game as you guys did because I was planning on waiting until it came to PC to play it.
Which that will be a couple years.
And they're being vague about that too, Mr. Chuckles. They keep getting asked by these game websites, and they're being vague about it. So we may not get it in 2019.
Yeah, I know, but there was a free trial on the PS4, so I decided I'd go ahead and try it out. So
console master race.
Whatever.
That's not a real thing.
Toby.
Toby's the console club of the group.
I'll start, but I really like the game. Honestly, I think that it reminds me. You guys make fun of my personal favorite game, Sea of Thieves, but it reminds me a lot. To me, it's what I think Sea of Thieves should have had more of. I love the.
To me, it's the polar opposite of Sea of Thieves as far as
it's a good game.
No,
he just said that.
Listen, could we not interrupt me with insults of my?
Hey, you guys are ripping Nintendo this episode.
You brought up Sea of Thieves, bro.
Sea of Thieves is garbage.
But here's what I'm saying. Sea of Thieves has the same feeling as far as traveling to places and getting around the map and things and the pace it takes. The game is a very slow paced. You may get into an action scene or you may get into PvP with someone, but you may not. So
meant to take in the scenery.
Right, exactly, which is what I really liked about the game, because the whole reason for playing a Western game is to become engrossed in Western scenery and lifestyle, and as far as the mechanics of the game, I don't think that they were overly clunky, especially when you think of the time period of the game and the weapons that you're using and the fact that those things are naturally clunky.
Right.
So I think that it was meant to give it more of an authentic feel instead of, you got a scope, 20 powered scope on your gun.
Right. I think that's what their intention was too.
Yeah, I totally understand that point. I would give that more water if it didn't feel like their combat systems in GTA. To me, it feels more just of that's how Rockstar games play. Right. But I do get your point as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I love how you can interact with everything. It's that to me is what is missing out of Sea of Thieves is the ability
the interaction
to walk onto your boat and hammer something or like actually like put a rope on something or like really interact with your environment, you know? And I think that as time goes on, that's what more and more video games are going to be like is, you know, people want to experience the video game and not just play them.
Right. Virtual reality, basically.
Right. So the more that you can get somebody involved in the actual feeling of the game, the more I think it'll be successful, you know? And, you know, Ricky made a point where, you know, he's spent a lot of time in the game, and this game is a game that isn't meant for a casual gamer. You know,
Oh, for sure.
There's way too much to do, way too many quests, way too much stuff you can get into, you know, and just the, like, I shot a bird and you can go over and pluck out the feathers and, you know, make clothing and stuff and sell the meat and all that stuff. Like, there's so many layers to the game.
Because I've given them 0.
I give them everything. I'm 0
They can survive themselves, damn it. Everything is in red.
Honestly, but what you just said, it almost makes it, I almost think it's reason that casual players might get into because, you know, Tori's not a gamer, but because of how good it looks and the dialogue, she actually kind of like pays attention when I watch and it kind of piques her interest. So I could see like a casual gamer just playing it just to get lost in the world and just
it becomes more like, you know, to be more like in Ricky's wheelhouse, it's more like reading a book than playing a game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like how you put that.
Yeah, it's so detailed and so much going on, and there's so many different avenues that you can take. It's almost like if a reader reads a book, everyone can interpret it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
So instead of having such a niche audience for a video game and it only appealing to a certain amount of people, you can open it up to everything with just by adding more detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I said it yesterday in our chat. I said this game isn't perfect, but it's still a masterpiece in its own right. It's
right.
The attention to detail. It sets a new level for open world games. You can't just have objects in a world anymore and have them not doing it. You have to make it, you can interact with it. It's so continue, TJ. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right. I was just reading some of this troll chat we got going on.
Oh no, is it Kush or the Green Fiend? My wife says, quote, who's Green Fiend? He seems kind of a douchebag. I said, no, that's just the way.
Who's Polar Knight? Who's Polar Knights? Is this a new fella?
Yeah, it's a new fella.
Wait, you're married?
Or
I am certainly.
lady.
We're in talks.
Oh.
Okay, we're in talks.
Dude,
Yeah.
this
All right,
polar
you gonna finish?
person's trolling me hard. Anyway, so I'll.
He's trolling you hard.
Yeah, I said, do you think you can play it while you're
So
asleep?
hard.
Dude? Don't appreciate it.
We can report him right now if we want to.
Permaban, dude. Permaban.
Permaban.
No, so yeah, I just overall I really liked the game. Like I liked the easygoing feel of the game. You know, you can go as hard and well, I'm not going to say that out loud, but play it as long as you want to, you know, or you could just choose to focus on the main stuff and get through it fairly quickly and still have a good understanding of what the game offers. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an awesome sauce.
For the 20 minutes you played, you probably are still
TJ's first review on the podcast is a perfect score.
Well, because I know enough about my personal taste to know that I don't have to play it for 40 hours to decide whether or not
I usually can tell by a trailer if I'm going to like the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but then a lot of times we see the trailer and then we get very disappointed.
Well, there's like
Green Fiend on Twitch makes a good point. The health and everything.
Anthem, you know the game that's coming out?
Yeah.
I saw a 45-minute demo by the devs. I'm uncertain about the game now. So
I told you guys that extended play, it made me less excited for it.
yeah, I'm with Swags now.
I still got it pre-ordered. I'll let you guys know how it is. I just love Bioware, so I'm gonna like support them.
There's still time.
I'm just gonna pre-order it so I can play the beta.
Yeah.
I saw. Well, it was like Alien Colonial Marines. They showed all those trailers and stuff, and I was like, "This game looks awesome. It's a shooter in the Alien universe." And then you buy the game, and you're like, "What the hell is this garbage?"
It happens. Well, we're not going to go ahead and dive into the Overwatch League updates because we kind of went over Overwatch and the Blizzcon.
Are we gonna belly flop into them?
We're going to belly flop into the snack of the week.
So just to
Snack of the
recap,
week.
But we're not in the snack of the week
on the
yet.
sauce scale.
That was a hot 0.5.
Hot 0.5. There we go. I like that better.
Hot 0.5.
Since it was
was-
too
it was
hot,
blazing.
too awesome.
It was
Yeah.
flazing.
It was. Oh my god.
Blazing.
We're not
Yeah.
putting that in.
It's
Just
not a
stop,
thing.
Swags.
That's
Blazing.
Not a
It's
thing.
not.
Blazing.
It's not.
It doesn't exist.
Blazing. All right. No. Okay. So
It is fun
yes,
to
that
say,
was.
though.
It is a lot of fun. That's why I like it. But now we can go ahead.
Amber Alert,
And
guys.
Belly
If you watch this
flop
live, be on the
into-
lookout.
The snack of the week. And we're gonna keep it Western themed. Doo-da. Yeah, did you like that?
So beans on
Okay.
a can it is.
Well,
Yeah.
Guys, Polar is getting very political right now. I'm very uncomfortable.
if
Yeah, I know. Go ahead and give him a timeout, dude.
I'm gonna
Give him a timeout.
I'm just
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
promote
ahead and
him to
start because we
moderator.
need to keep this podcast on the train rails.
Yeah. He's on a
A
very good
steam train.
We picked the person with ADD to be a host to keep us on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was bad.
That was
quality.
y'all's mistake.
That's our lack
I'm
of
just
judgment.
I'm just the pretty face.
So because we're doing the Red Dead Redemption review, we're going to do a Western themed
I'm going
snack
first.
of the week. So, well, I already said I was going first.
I want to go second then.
Okay.
I want to
So
go
I'm just
third.
going to go ahead and
I wanna
go.
go
If
last.
I was in the West, now, see, the reality is if you were really in the West, you're probably just eating fucking onions and whatever's in the ground that you can grow.
Yeah, let me throw
Cabbage,
some in
onions
there.
and cabbage,
Onions.
that's what you have. Maybe venison.
I don't think you know how the West works.
But I'm gonna go with the Burger King idea of Western. And so my Western meal would be a barbecue pulled pork sandwich with coleslaw on top and fried onion straws.
They didn't have a
And-
Sonny's back then there, dude.
On the side, I would have bacon mac and cheese. I gotta have meat in the mac and cheese too.
Yeah.
They didn't have noodles back then either, my friend.
Well, TJ, I think
Western
you're pretty
themed
cool.
food, not food that you would eat if you were living in the West.
Yeah, hence my point at the beginning. If I was actually in
I'm
the
doing
West, it
In-N-Out
would be
burger.
cabbage,
That's-
probably, and a rabbit.
I'm gonna go very, very survivalist here. So I'm gonna just pick beef jerky.
Ooh.
Second
Oh.
with me on my trips,
On your
Yeah,
long
put it in your
snack
30-minute horse rides.
and then I'll feed some beef jerky to my horse. Maybe he's a cannibal. I don't know. So
That's
Why would it be horse
horses
jerky?
don't eat meat, dude.
I know. Maybe I'll put some like salt or sugar on it, and
They
maybe.
can't even digest meat.
Oh, how do you know so much about horses?
No, he's into their genitals.
Wow.
on Red Dead.
Either way, I'm bringing beef jerky. It could be used in most situations.
Do you need some moonshine to wash it down?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds like a good idea. Moonshine whiskey.
Oh, dude, what about
Say moonshine whiskey?
what about
Sure,
the dude
that's
that
if you don't
had
pay
the-
taxes on whiskey. It's moonshine.
the dude that had the hidden moonshine gin in Red Dead?
Mm,
The store owner that had the hidden.
that's true.
I killed the store owner and I can't buy stuff.
Stop killing things.
Tommy always goes evil. You know this.
I have to go chaotic evil in every game where I get a choice.
You know, David
Yeah,
played Fable 2. I think it was Fable 2. He killed everybody in town, and he couldn't finish a quest or do something because he wiped out
Hey,
everything.
you got to wait till later before you do that.
Yeah, it's like David
That's
has
just a rookie
horns and
move.
flies
Yeah,
by
You
hours.
always leave the main NPCs alive, no
Yeah.
matter what.
So TJ,
Yo,
Western themed.
uh, let's go with a 7-layer dip, my friend.
7-layer dip.
Yeah, you ever had a 7-layer dip before?
Guy Polar is trolling us, man.
I have had a sip. So, in the 7-layer dip, is it the kind that's it's got like beans, cheese, sour cream,
Yes. and
tortillas?
I don't know that. No, there's not tortillas in there. You scoop it with tortillas.
Okay.
So there's like
okay.
refried beans. There's like what else is in that dip, babe? The hamburger meat. It's like basically like a taco salad, but it's all layered out in 7 different layers.
So this is like your Mex Western meal,
well,
like
well,
Tex-Mex.
obviously, isn't
I don't know. Is this
that
something that I would bring to a campfire? Probably not.
Hey, I'd eat
Probably
it.
not.
though.
Because
I eat it.
I would eat
I'd
it.
eat it.
Like, you have to eat it.
Well, it's
really
Western
quick because-
themed, my friend.
The sour cream would go bad
West.
without a refrigerator to keep it cool.
You could have said cowboy caviar. You know what that is, TJ?
I don't want to know.
Baked beans?
Yeah.
No, it's that dip. It's like
and
corn, beans, tomatoes, and
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
onion and
I want
stuff.
to bring chewing tobacco on mine.
It's pretty delicious as well. Tommy, you should make some caviar.
Tommy has
cowboy
what's
caviar.
my tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the famous dip.
I got famous dip already. I don't need another dip. Although,
Do you
I
mean you
did
bring
buy
some
buffalo
with sour
chicken dip
cream?
just so I could eat it. It's so good.
Yes. So, Tommy, what's
All
your
right.
Western themed wing?
My Western theme
It's
is
a Chipotle season.
no, it's better than a Chipotle season. It is. I'm gonna go with this ranchilada from Wild Wing Cafe. It's got a good
Oh, it is a
good
wing.
texture, good
First of
text-
all, this
text
guy,
flavor.
I'm 32, not 22.
Why are you getting so defensive, dude? Chill out.
This guy is
Oh.
pulling me hard and Jet's
No one likes the Jets. No one likes the Jets. No, but really, what I do if I want like a Western feast, I'd be smoking some meat, get a little
Ribs.
campfire out there,
Yeah.
man. I would have just like 8 racks of ribs, rolling
Yeah, pig
out.
ribs, horse ribs,
ribs,
deer
You'd have to
Bear
build
ribs.
you'd have to build more than just a campfire to have.
Oh no, I would have like a metal tin, get that
Oh.
going, smoke it out.
So
They have
basically,
human ribs.
you wouldn't carry anything else but this giant tin thing so you can make ribs out of camp.
No, this would be at the base camp, bro.
Base
Yeah.
camp.
Base camp.
No,
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not riding on my horse snacking
Up
on
there,
ribs.
up there on top,
No.
up there on top of Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, man.
That was
The banjo. Wrong
That's deliverance.
That's deliverance.
one. Whatever. It's still
Wow.
still the same.
There's still butt play. So.
There's still by play. But yeah, no, I would totally smoke out, big time.
Yeah, me too.
Dude,
Back in the West.
Come on.
Smoke out.
Yeah.
bruh.
All right, let's wrap this up. Speaking of eating, wanna go
It's
eat
dinner
that.
time.
it's
Yeah.
dinner time.
Dinner time.
Yeah, I've had my plate.
Peanut
full
butter
of
jelly
hours.
time. Peanut butter jelly time.
Where you at? Where you at? Where
There
you at?
you go.
That's-
There you
All
go.
right, let's go ahead. Where can everyone find you guys? We'll wrap up. Let you guys go get your din on. And Rickus, since you're the famous, finishing first.
The underscore
okay.
Rickus on Instagram and Twitter. Rickus out.
Ooh,
Wow.
so sexy. Chuckles, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at Chuckles, the number 4 real. I'm on every social media, Twitch.
Is that? Can you find yourself on Pornhub?
Only if you pay for it.
Oh,
Premium.
premium.
All right.
All right, Toby.
Instagram, Toby_TND.
How dare you?
Toby out.
I run the Tommy Swags on Instagram, and then also run all of our Game Snacks show that's on IG and Twitter. So make sure to follow us. And then join our group, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GameSnacks and /groups/GameSnacks. Come join us, interact with us, play games with us, have fun with us. I hope you
By the
enjoy
way,
it.
if you're listening, you can also watch us live on Twitch.
What?
No.
What they're doing right now?
That's what they're doing right now.
Not the people who are listening on the podcast. They're not.
They're like 3 days behind.
Yeah, you're so far behind. I mean, like if you're listening on the podcast,
This
this
is the
was so
past.
4 days ago.
So, but it's
Right.
outdated, bro.
yeah,
This was so
get on
last
Twitch.
Thursday. So last Thursday.
Game Snack Show on Twitch, right?
Yeah, you can follow us, and since we're a Twitch affiliate, you can subscribe to us as well. Yeah,
And if you have a Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free.
for
Every month.
free.
For free.
free.
Shout out to all our SoundCloud listeners because we got a lot over there on SoundCloud. So
Yeah.
appreciate y'all from the Netherlands and wherever.
Come
Yeah,
watch us on Twitch.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes, indeed.
So,
Indeed. All right, guys. Well, it was fun. It's been real.
I'm just awkward. I'm not sure if I should.
It just hasn't been real
or
fun.
just let you
I was.
the handshake. Is that?
Now that we're on the outro, okay, we can all just like we're fading out. We can kind of like give our real opinions on Red Dead. So let's all let's all admit it's a
Game's trash.
Game's trash.
Yeah, mile.
Nintendo's trash.
Whoa, dude. Whoa, are you gonna come at the founders of video games?
Founders of gaming.
Oh, he's like the
Sorry,
far.
was out there.
Oh, where's
Yeah.
Sorry now?
Doesn't matter.
Good point. They're inside Teslas. That's where they're at. They're back into the future. That was a movie review.
Game over.